There's growing talk that a big change could be coming for the Catholic Church. With Pope Francis now in his late 80s and facing health issues, many are wondering who might take his place when the time comes. And among all the names being whispered, in the Vatican and around the world, one name keeps standing out: Cardinal Luis Tagle from the Philippines. Some people are calling him the Asian Pope Francis, and there's a good reason why. His personality, leadership style, and life story are making people take notice. Could he be the next pope? Some insiders believe that choice may already be made. So let's take a deep dive into who Cardinal Tagle is, why many believe he's next in line, and what it would mean for the Catholic Church if he were chosen. Cardinal Luis Tagle is not just another name on the list. He's known for his warm smile, humble lifestyle, and deep connection with people from all walks of life. He's been praised for his ability to make big and sometimes complicated spiritual ideas easy to understand. He has a way of speaking that connects with both the heart and mind, and he does it with simplicity and kindness. He's the kind of leader who doesn't put himself above others. Instead, he walks with them, listens and makes them feel seen. That quality alone makes him a strong candidate for the highest role in the Catholic Church. Luis Tagle was born in Manila, Philippines in 1957. He grew up in a simple and hard-working family that had a strong faith. Like many Filipino families, faith was not just something you talked about. It was something you lived every day. As a young boy, Luis saw the struggles of poor communities and how faith helped them get through difficult times. That experience left a deep mark on him and helped shape his mission in life: to serve, to listen, and to lift up those who are often ignored or forgotten. He became a priest in 1982 and quickly stood out for his intelligence and ability to connect with people. He studied theology seriously and gained respect for his knowledge of church teachings. But even with his deep academic background, he never lost that personal touch. He continued to preach in simple ways, speak to local communities, and work closely with everyday people. His faith was never just something in books, it was something alive, something real. In 2012, Pope Benedict XVI recognized Tagle's special gifts and named him a cardinal. This made him one of the youngest cardinals at that time. It also placed him on the global stage. As cardinal, he continued to lead with humility. He didn't seek power or recognition. Instead, he focused on helping those in need. He listened to the stories of refugees, comforted victims of natural disasters, and spoke up for the poor. His work gained even more attention when he became the head of Caritas Internationalis, the Church's global charity organization. Through that role, he traveled the world helping others and building bridges between cultures and faiths. One of the things that makes Cardinal Tagle stand out is how closely his values match those of Pope Francis. Since becoming Pope in 2013, Francis has focused on humility, social justice, interfaith dialogue, and reaching out to those on the margins. He's been a Pope of the people, someone who's not afraid to let go of old traditions if it means creating a more welcoming and loving church. Luis Tagle shares that same spirit. Like Francis, he believes the church should be a home for everyone, especially the poor and those who feel left out. He's not about judgment. He's about compassion, inclusion, and action. People around the world have noticed this connection between the two. That's why Tagle is often called the Asian Pope Francis. It's not just because he looks up to Francis. It's because he leads in a similar way. And that's a big deal because it shows he could continue the work that Francis started. In fact, some say Pope Francis is already quietly backing Tagle as his preferred successor. While nothing is official until the conclave, this kind of support from a sitting pope carries a lot of weight. Now let's talk a little bit about what the Pope actually does and why this role matters so much. The Pope is the leader of the Catholic Church, which has over 1.3 billion members around the world. That makes him one of the most influential people on the planet. But he's not just a religious leader. The Pope is also a global figure, someone who meets with presidents, speaks on world issues, and offers a moral voice during times of crisis. When the Pope speaks, people listen, not just Catholics, but leaders and communities from every faith and background. The Pope's responsibilities are huge. He must protect the teachings of the Church, but also guide it into the future. He must speak up for the poor, the oppressed, and the forgotten. He has to help resolve conflicts, support peace efforts, and unite people in a divided world. That's why choosing a new pope is not something the Church takes lightly. It's a spiritual decision made through prayer, reflection, and careful thought. When the time comes, it will be up to the cardinals to choose someone they believe is truly led by the Holy Spirit. The process of choosing a new pope is called the conclave. It takes place in the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican. All cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote. They take a sacred oath to keep the process secret. Then they vote, round after round, until one person gets 2/3 of the votes. Once that happens, the white smoke appears from the chapel chimney, and the world knows a new pope has been chosen. It's a moment of great hope in history. If Cardinal Tagle were chosen, it would be a historic moment. He would be the first pope from the Philippines, and only the second from Asia. This would send a powerful message that the Catholic Church truly is global, and that leadership can come from anywhere, not just Europe. It would show that the Church is moving forward, embracing its diversity, and recognizing the growing importance of Asia and the global South in its future. Tagle's deep roots in the Philippines are important because the region has one of the fastest-growing Catholic populations. In places like the Philippines, faith is alive, vibrant, and central to daily life. Having a pope who understands that energy and who has lived it would bring fresh insight into how to grow the faith around the world. It would also give hope to millions of people who rarely see themselves represented at the top levels of the Church. Another thing to note is that Tagle speaks several languages, including English, Italian, and Tagalog. This helps him connect with people from different backgrounds. In a world where the Church must reach out to young people, diverse cultures, and modern communities, having a multilingual pope would be a big advantage. It would allow him to speak directly to people in a language they understand, not just with words, but with heart. Now let's look at the challenges that any new pope, including Cardinal Tagle, would have to face. One major issue is the decline of church attendance in many Western countries. More and more people are leaving organized religion, especially the younger generation. The new pope will need to find ways to make faith relevant again, not by changing beliefs, but by reaching out in new ways. Tagle's warm and down-to-earth style could help here. He's good at listening and understanding, and that's something people are looking for today. There's also the issue of sexual abuse scandals within the Church. This has been a painful and difficult topic, and the next pope must continue the work of healing and accountability. Cardinal Tagle has already spoken about the need for transparency and care for victims. His leadership in Caritas and his focus on justice show that he's not afraid to deal with tough issues. He's not someone who would hide from the truth. He would face it with honesty and courage. Another challenge is making sure the Church is more inclusive. Pope Francis opened up many doors, speaking kindly about LGBTQ+ Catholics, encouraging dialogue with other faiths, and empowering local leaders. Cardinal Tagle supports this kind of openness. He's shown through his work that he values unity, understanding, and respect. He believes that faith should bring people together, not divide them. Some traditionalists in the Church may be cautious about Tagle. They might worry that he's too focused on change. But Tagle also has a deep respect for tradition. He understands the importance of the Church's teachings and history. What makes him different is his ability to bring those traditions into today's world in a loving and human way. He doesn't throw out the old, but he finds new ways to make it come alive. One of his most powerful gifts is storytelling. When Tagle speaks, he often tells simple but touching stories from his life or the lives of people he's met. These stories aren't flashy or dramatic. They're real, honest, and full of heart. And that's what makes him so relatable. He reminds people that faith isn't just about rules or rituals. It's about love, kindness, and being there for one another. Young people especially connect with Tagle. He understands the modern world. He knows that life can be hard, and he doesn't pretend to have all the answers. Instead, he walks with people. He encourages them to ask questions, to seek truth, and to never give up hope. In a time when many young Catholics are looking for meaning,